our career path and what we choose as our career. Because I don't believe that it is natural for humans to have authority over other humans. I don't think that that is a natural place. I think that is a construct. I'm not saying you can't have leadership. I'm not saying you can't have, you know, people with ideas or people who can execute things better than other people or people who can organise better than others. I'm not saying that. I'm getting out of the word leadership. But I don't believe that it's natural for humans to have authority over other humans. And particularly when you give people with authority the power of enforcement. And so where I'm looking now is I'm saying, well, let's look at the trauma of the people with the power of enforcement. What's their unhealed wound that would lead them to take a job where they can become enforcers? And so for me, there's a departure here from what's going into the mainstream, which is always looking at, you know, if we take the prison project, you know, let's look at prisoners' unhealed wounds. Let's look at their trauma. Let's look at the trauma of the, you know, the individual and the people who are, you know, bad, noisy, non-compliant people who are creating a problem for the mainstream system. And we'll, you know, and we'll have this thing called trauma-informed practice. We'll have this thing called trauma-informed practice where we look at the individual's trauma and we can say, oh yes, well that, you know, that explains why this has happened to you. We could get into all the neuroscience and we can, and there are lots of ways for people to heal from that. And we can talk about that, all the different, you know, the tapping and the eye movement stuff. And there's recently a new one called havening, which I've been really enthralled with. But what we're not looking at is the people that are dishing out the stuff that creates the trauma and saying, well, where's your trauma? That means that you could actually stand up in front of a group of children and dish out punishment. Because that's not natural. You only have to go back to, you know, it's not like there aren't examples. You only have to go back to indigenous cultures to see they never punish their children.